How often do we throw negative energy on ourselves or on other people? If my words have the power and the energy to change how a plant grows, what do you think those words do to me as I'm saying those words, or if I'm saying those words to somebody else? The words that we speak indeed have power, and I want to find a way that we can use that to our advantage and not hurt us. You remember I talked about the subconscious and how the subconscious listens to everything, right? Just like the Alexa, it listens to everything that you're saying, and then it's listening to what you're saying, and it plays it back on your phone, and it makes you go to ads that you hadn't thought about going to because it listened to what you were saying, and then it used that at the right time to influence you, right? Our subconscious is the same way. It's listening and seeing all that we experience. It stores it up, and then it wants to use it at a particular time. If that is happening, the words that we say about ourselves, the subconscious is also recording that. How many people talk under their breath? I do, right? Stub my toe, got a couple of four-letter words to come out from time to time, right? Or I'm disappointed in how I did something or something happened, and I'll mutter something under my breath that's pretty negative, right? And all the while, I don't think much of it because it seems like just a little thing. I'm just saying these little words, but my subconscious is listening to that. And it says, oh, that's who you are. Or that's what your future is going to look like. Oh, you'll never get that job. Or you'll never get these fines paid off. Or you'll never be in recovery because I've muttered these things out of my mouth, and my subconscious is listening, and it says, let me help play that out for you. Let me make that true for you. The words that we say, even the words that we say to ourselves, matter. As a matter of fact, you could listen to me all day long. I could be in your back pocket, in your ear, walking down the hall, whispering all these positive words. You can do it. We're going to do this. Go for it. We got it. We're going to make it. We're going to make it happen. You're so positive. You're going to feel better. I could be whispering those things to you all day long. But what you actually mutter out of your mouth, it has far more impact on your brain and subconscious than anything that I could say. Negative words. When we use negative words, it slows down our brain speed. The brain has to use more energy because it's trying to understand these words and concepts, and it has to interpret them. It uses more energy when we use negative words. The brain has to then inspect these words. So the brain goes through a different type of processing, using more energy, using more time when we use negative words. Stresses you out too. What's the number one way that we use negative words? Complaining. And most of us complain a lot. We don't think that we do, but we complain, the average person, 10 to 20 times a day, right? And when we get into the habit of complaining, it actually trains our brain to complain more. And then it trains the brain to look for more negative stuff to complain about. Anybody know someone who just an expert complainer? You know, it's like, man, it's like, this water's not cold enough. I mean, everything, right? We train our brain to do that. And this does the same thing as negative words. When we train our brains to complain. So again, our brain becomes wired now to look for the bad stuff after we've been complaining for a while. The brain says, oh, we got to find something negative here. This situation is just too good. We got to find something negative to talk about. And we train our brain to do that when we allow ourselves to continue to complain. So I'm going to talk maybe in another 2 or 3 weeks about gratitude. Gratitude does the opposite to the brain that complaining does. So gratitude forces us, when we write down 3 things that we're grateful for each day, it forces our brain now, it has to look for good stuff. I'm training it to look for good stuff that's happening around me, that's happening maybe even to other people. I'm looking for that good stuff, and I'm training my brain in the reverse. Positive words, guys. So when we use positive words, our brain is more reactive and it works faster than when we use negative words. When we're saying positive things, the brain doesn't have to inspect it to understand what it really means. The brain is able to move quicker. We're able to think faster and better when we use positive words or positive talk. So there's a scripture here, right? Proverbs 18:20-21. This is in the Message Bible. Words satisfy the mind. Words satisfy the mind. This is the Message Bible. As much as fruit does the stomach. Good talk is as gratifying as a good harvest. Words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose. We have the ability to choose which of these words that we want to use. In the heat of the moment, you may not feel like you have a choice, right? If someone says something, you want to get them right back, or a situation happens and you want to respond quickly. But we have the power to choose which route we want to go with the words that we have. We can use the route of using positive words and uplifting words. We can use that and choose that. Or we can use the negative words. Who has found that the negative words have really ever fixed a situation? Has it ever turned out the way that you want it to turn out? Make it worse. You may feel good for 10 seconds, right? You get that, I got him. But then afterwards, it never turns out the way that we want it to turn out. So we want to choose words that give life. If it's not giving life, if it's not moving me forward, if it's not moving my brother or sister forward, if it's not doing that, if it's not uplifting, why do I want to choose that word? When we think about ourselves and how we see ourselves, if we want to be at this particular place, I want to be well, I want to be able to get back into life again. I want to be with my family. I want to work. I want to have a career, business, whatever it is that you want to. If that's where you are, that you want to be, then all the words that I speak have to speak towards that. It can't speak towards the past. It can't speak towards that. It can't speak to the negativity that may still be around me. It can't speak to that. I got to speak towards that image of myself that I see where I want to be. I have to speak towards that. So words can create, much like I think my brother and some sister here said about, and God said. It's interesting, in the Bible, it doesn't say that God had these cosmic hands and he molded and he put things. It actually just says that God, he just said it. He spoke it. He was able to create with his words. So the earth was formless and a void or a waste, and there was emptiness and there was darkness upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God was moving, hovering, brooding over the face of the waters. And God just said, let there be light. And this cascade of things occurred. Great creation began with words. That's point number one. That's actually the first point of today. Great creation began with words, yes. So let me go to something that's akin to that. God created with words, okay? Maybe not everyone believes that, but I want you to just think about that concept, that with the words that we speak, they spoke, he created. And then there's this other verse. So God created man in his own image, the image and likeness of God. He created him, male and female, he created them. So some people argue that if God is able to create with his words, and we are in the image of God, then we can also create with our words. This chair that somebody had a concept for probably, hundreds of years ago, and then we got a new model of this, but this chair began in its creation by somebody speaking. Everything that you want beyond Genesis, everything that you want beyond Genesis begins with the words that you speak. If you get upset and say, this will never happen for me, or screw this, I'm never going to get off reporting, or you say any of those things, You're creating, but you're not creating the future that you want. Everything that you want beyond Genesis begins with the words that you speak. God's words create the world. God created the world with words. We are created in His image. We can also create with our words. So say continually what you want. But I want you guys to continually say what it is that you want. You know, there are probably, 50 different types of dreams and aspirations and things that people want to do. I need you guys to start saying it. Start speaking it. By speaking it, you're starting the process of creating it. You know why? Because as you're saying it, your subconscious is listening, and your subconscious say, okay, we got to get this in line because we're going to be having our own house, our own car and job. We got to start getting these things in motion because He's spoken it. You have to speak what it is that you want to create. What if you don't believe what you're saying? All right. So can I say something real quick? The subconscious, the recorder, this Alexa thing, it doesn't judge what you say. It just does what you say. It doesn't judge what you say. It doesn't say, oh, this is right or wrong. No, this is impossible. That's foolish or that's stupid. It doesn't judge it. It just records it and it starts putting things in motion. It doesn't judge it. And it's almost like a hack, something like a cheat code, right? Because if I can say it and my subconscious is listening, even if I'm not there yet in understanding if I can get this done or I can be that person, it doesn't matter because my subconscious will say, okay, we're going to get this in motion. All right, catch up, girl, when you catch up, but we're going to put this in motion. So words can create and words can change. So I assure you, and most solemnly say to you, whoever says to this mountain, not who gets a shovel and starts digging, right? Whoever says to this mountain, be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart God's unlimited power, but believes that He says He's going to take it place, it will be done for him in accordance to God's will. If I just say, if I can move this obstacle, if I can move this burden, if I can face this challenge, if I can say that, I'm starting to change my situation. I can speak to create, but I can also speak to change the circumstances that I'm in. What we give our thoughts to and what we give our words to, we give our energy to. What we think and what we say, there holds our energy. Again, if we're saying lots of negative stuff, that means that we're depositing our energy into something that's working against us. What we say and what we think matter. So words change or reinforce our situation. I will get a job. I can learn. I will have my family. I will have a car. Speaking these things to change our circumstance, but also speaking these things to create the life that we want. And then lastly, we talked about how words create, how words change, but the words that we speak can also grow us. This is one of my favorite verses in the Bible, right? It says here, beat your plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. And then this is the kicker right here. Let the weak say that I am strong. Sounds crazy. The people who feel as if they're weak, the Bible says, I need you to say that you're strong. Whatever deficit that you feel like you have, you need to speak the positive of that situation or that feeling or the way that you think that you're being. Speak the positive opposite of that. If you feel like I'm very timid and shy, I am courageous. I am brave. If you're scared, it's okay to feel scared, right? But you're going to say, I am brave to face this situation. You know, it's okay. Some of us suffer from depression or sadness, but I'm going to say that I have joyness of heart. I'm going to say these things because as I'm saying these things, I'm creating the change that's necessary for me. So words can create who you are and grow as you use your I am statements. Did we talk about I am statements before? So I am strong, right? I am dedicated. I am consistent. I am disciplined, right? All of these things beginning with I am. So this is what I like for you guys to think about, right? Those things that we feel that may be lacking in our character, or we may have deficits or things that we struggle with. Find the change that you want in that situation and declare it. And I'd like for you to put it into an I am statement.